Hello, my name is Ashley, and today I will be presenting my Technology Infused Assessment module for BEAT 4306. What were my perceptions about teaching ELLs before taking this course? Number 1. Most of the students that are ELLs come from a low SCS. 2. ELLs are not as smart as others because they are behind on their core subjects. 3. They are lazy and do not try as hard. 4. Effective instruction means just nonverbal support. 5. A younger child will pick up the language easier while an older student will not. What were my perceptions about teaching ELLs after taking this course? 1. Just because they are ELLs doesn't mean they are low SCS. They could have money and still be an ELL. 2. Just because they are behind on the core does not mean they are not as smart. It could be that they need time to scaffold, and once they start acquiring the language, they can start to catch up. 3. Sometimes they are discouraged, but they do try. It's just that maybe they are not understanding due to a language barrier. 4. Effective instruction means that you just use language and not just nonverbal support. In order to make sure the student is learning the second language, you have to use language a lot. 5. We have been reading that a child and an older student can learn a language at the same rate. It might be that the younger one has a more native-like sound when he speaks. What are some common misconceptions about teaching ELLs? 1. To be successful in school, they must assimilate to the culture as quickly as possible. 2. The students should be discouraged from using their native language because it can lead to language disorders and delays. 3. English immersion results in the student learning the language faster. 4. Parents of ELLs are not as involved in their child's education and do not care as much. 5. Teachers have lower academic expectations for ELLs. Do you know what are the top 5 concepts all teachers should know about when working with ELLs? Critical concepts. Number 1. Students do not need to assimilate into the culture. They can integrate into the culture at their own pace. Number 2. Students need native language support to help achieve academic progress. Number 3. English immersion is not always the best option for students. English immersion can sometimes delay the student from learning their core subjects because they cannot understand what is going on. Number 4. Parents of ELLs do care about their students' education. Parents will sometimes have a hard time communicating or are sometimes at work. Number 5. Teachers should not have lower expectations for ELLs. They need to have expectations that are at the same level as their learning level. If you have low expectations, you are telling the student you do not believe in their academic abilities. What are some of the do's and don'ts that teachers should keep in mind? Number 1. Guess who? When teaching ELL students, implement work in which they can work on with partners or in groups. If you want kids to learn a new language, they have to be actively engaging with it. This means that you need to give them more activities where it is less teacher-led and more small groups where students can practice language with their friends and peers in a low-risk environment. Number 2. Chunk it up. In order to help students with the new language, let them scaffold. When scaffolding, you are breaking up the learning into chunks, and then you provide the tools the students need for each chunk. Number 3. Lay the foundation. When you have an ELL student, you need to provide support in their primary language. By providing support, you are laying the foundation for them. You are letting them learn those hard concepts in a language they understand. Once that foundation is laid, then they will be able to build on it and later transfer it to the L2. Number 4. Look into it. While this may be extra work for the teacher, it is always a good idea to present visuals or manipulatives for the student. If they are not comfortable with the language or have no vocab, they need those visuals to help them understand what is going on. Number 5. Cowboy up. Now make sure your ELL students have partners such as bilingual partners which they can work with and that can help them whenever they are having a hard time. Don'ts. Number 1. Don't give the boot to their native language. Many used to believe that by letting a child continue to use their native language, that was a barrier for the student to acquire English. Research has shown that when the student continues to use their native language, they are able to transfer the information from their L1 to their L2, making a stronger foundation. Number 2. Don't make the student sprint. Whenever you ask your ELL a question, you have to be patient with him and give them time to think of what they are going to say. By not giving them enough wait time or rushing them, you are not making a safe environment for them. Number 3. Don't blie them. As stated before, using visuals can be very beneficial to the student when trying to learn a new language, but at the same time, you do not want to overload them with too many. You also want to use language with them to make sure that they are making connections between the two. By utilizing the two at the same time, you are making sure that they are learning the academic vocab they need. Number 4, don't push them over the edge. Don't push your ELL to learn their CALP as fast as their BICS. Their BICS will be learned at a much faster pace than their CALP just because it is vocab they are around more. Do not stress the student with the fact that this vocab is not catching on as quickly. Number 5, don't ostracize. Do not separate your ELL from the rest of the class just because he is having a hard time with the concepts or language. He needs to feel as part of the group, and being with others will make him be around the language. These are my resources, and thank you.